Hi guys, Dogo here with a new video, and this video will be a phase 3 BIS list for warriors in BWL, obviously, classic World of Warcraft anniversary servers, and I'm going to show you what I currently have gear wise, but also what I aim to get this current phase. Now, obviously, I try to be also realistic. What is easily attainable, or at least like attainable with a SR raid or SR guild. Obviously, loot console could maybe funnel you a lot of gear depending if you're a tank or not. But we're going to discuss everything. This will help you decide on what items you should try to strive for, which items are going to be the high ticket items where you might even double SR it, or like give emphasis in your wish list on your loot consoles, for example. As a warrior, you are the hero class of World of Warcraft Classic, pretty much. So you are going to get eventually the best DPS gears possible in BWL, but also in MC. You will still want to run MC for a couple items where normally most of your items are going to either come from ranking gear, BWL, maybe like a Viscag if you didn't have the luck yet, and maybe a Brutality Blade here and there. But also, like obviously, the Onslaught's Girdle, which is the one that you really want from MC, and Quick Strike Ring, obviously. But still, quick like it's not on the same level as the Onslaught Girdle, which is going to be BIS pretty much till Nax. And I think you can even like wear it in Nax without any issues until you have like a better item in the horizon. So let's talk about the list I have prepared. So I have excluded world bosses. Depending if you have a coalition, if you have the right guild, you can actually get the world boss items. For example, I am in a coalition, so I can technically get, for example, ED, which is Empyrean, like the one-hander that you get from Kazakh. But I'm not going to count into that because again, I think 99% of the people that are going to watch this list is not going to be able to do world bosses. So it is what it is. Now, I highly recommend people to at least get rank 13, and I would even say rank 14 because it will bypass a lot of the stuff that you will have to SR and which will not be that mandatory down the line. If you are rank 14, you don't really need to prioritize weapons, for example. That's my opinion. You may have another opinion. The important thing that you need is, at least if you're a human and you're wearing the right weapons, which is swords or mace, you need 6% hit, and that's it. It is non-negotiable. The more hit you have, the better it is, because whenever you're not going to do heroic strikes, you'll be able to hit your white hits more often. The more weapon skill you have, and I think 308 is a sweet spot. It's going to reduce the damage. It's going to reduce the penalty of damage of your glancing blows. For example, 308 will give you 95% damage on your glancing blows instead of 100%. So it is technically something you can strive for. But for that, you need a special weapon. Now let's talk about weapons first. Those are my weapons currently. I have Viscag and I have Stormstrike Hammer, which is still a very good weapon in my opinion. But obviously, if you really want a good weapon in BWL, you want to replace the Stormstrike Hammer for a Brutality Blade, for example. That's why you might still want to do MC. But the one weapon that you probably would like to have on offhand, and even if it's like probably tank prio, but if you get Mana Death, it actually makes your glancing blows, like the damage of it, very good. Like it's not going to be too bad to lose 5% of your damage whenever you're going to glancing blow, and most of your hits are going to be glancing blows, even if it's reduced with your 305 weapon skill. This makes it going to be way better for you. So this is kind of the weapon that you really want, and that's for your offhand. But realistically, if you are in a SR raid or SR guild, most likely it's going to be a chart for the tank, or it's going to be a chart for some reason. Maybe a rogue wants it, which is acceptable, I guess. Um, you could also say, look, maybe I want to go for chromatically tempered sword, but that's also going to be a high ticket weapon. If you really want to go for that, it's understandable. It is like really a rank 14 caliber weapon, which I'm going to show you once we have talked about this gear, because I think ranking gear should come at last. Uh, but this is like the best weapon you can have as a human. And if you're an orc, I didn't forget about you guys. You want the axe, obviously, and you also want ideally maybe still run Onyxia to get Deathbringer, maybe something else, maybe Doom's Edge. You have multiple weapons you can go for, but that depends on your needs. But I don't really know too much about like orc horde side weapons because I am playing human and I'm only playing alliance. I wanted to play like horde, but I don't really last long like leveling wise. I didn't really want to level horde, so decided to go back to alliance. And I think alliance wise, the weapons are a bit easier to split, I guess, because like orcs have like axes and that's it pretty much. Um, while humans have sword and maces, which you have a few good choices. Now for your main weapon, like I said, chromatically tempered sword, very high demand weapon. Like a rogue could get it, a warrior could get it. Most likely, it's going to be a chart if you're doing like a pug. Um, it's a high ticket weapon, so the likelihood also of it to drop is also quite low. If you want to SR it, good luck with that. Personally, I will not SR it directly because I know that a lot of people are going to jump on it, and I don't want to face like multiple people on it. And if you're in loot consoles, like good luck. You have like 17 warriors, you have maybe 5 rogues. Uh, it's going to be a highly contested weapon. So all in all, um, yeah, I don't think it's a good SR weapon, especially if you are ranking like me. I'm going to go for rank 14. So for me to get that weapon is not as much of a big upgrade as some people are not ranking. So I'm going to stick with Viscak for now. There is maybe a world where I do maybe get a Spine Shatter, maybe for tanking. Why not? Like the +5 defense can be cool. But overall, I do believe like Fiskag is the one that I really want if I want to DPS. And Maladeth is something like if it like in my guild we have a SR guild. Um, Maladeth is HR for the tank. So once the tank has it, then you can SR it. That's an interesting one because I think it's better than the ranking weapons because this will eliminate the damage penalty of glancing blows. So I would say this weapon is maybe the best weapon you can get. And even though the damage seems lower than the other weapons, it is going to make your damage way higher at the end. Probably the best weapon you can get if you're thinking about like your whole stats and how it's actually supposed to be. And that's more for humans. Obviously, if you're a gnome, dwarf, and you're going for edge masters, which you should, so you can actually split weapons way easier. You could go for axes, like I said, and maybe daggers, and those two are going to be quite efficient for you. So, yeah, that's another discussion that you could have. Obviously, human plays a bit different. Overall, you still want to have 6% hit. If you can actually get your hands at a thing that you could SR pretty easily, and I think it will not have that much competition, Cloak of Firemaw, 12 stamina, which is not too shabby, especially on mechanics where you want DPS to actually survive. A bit of stamina is always welcome, but also the 50 attack power, which is overtaking Cape of the Black Baron, which is something that people grind for every single day, which I don't really understand. I still use the Stormpike Soldier's Cloak. It's not great. It's 24 attack power. It has stamina, but the Cloak of Firemaw is like literally a 100% increase. This is literally the one thing that you could SR pretty easily. If it drops, it is yours, and you don't need to think about a upgrade anytime soon. Obviously, if you can do world bosses, the Azurgos cloak with the hit is the best cloak that you can have. but the likelihood of getting it is very slim. So for me, Cloak of Firemaw, very good cloak. You could, if you're a tank, I think it's very valuable to get agility because of the armor that you get from it, and also the crit, which is also good. But I think, and dodge obviously, but the strength is 16, which is 32 attack power. It's a bit less than Cloak of Firemaw, but it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for that crit, or if you're looking for that straight attack power, there is a soft cap towards crit. You don't want to have like 50% crit because it's not going to crit 50% of the time. It's not going to happen. So the thing is, you really want to maximize your attack power. If you're like around 35% crit, 40% crit, you kind of want to have attack power over crit at that point. So I would go for Cloak of Firemaw as one of the items. I would go for SR, for example. I also would say it's way easier to get Onyxia Tooth Pendant instead of like getting the Pressure Talisman Carnivory. This is like 30 agility, which is equal to 1.5% crit pretty much. It's not bad. It's overall probably a better DPS item than Onyxia Tooth Pendant, but I do love the agility, even though it does net a bit less crit in general, like in overall. I do like the agility because it does give like some stats towards like your macros, kind of, I want to say, like the dodge. You get a bit of armor, you get crit, but also you have 9 stamina, which is also quite awesome because again you want to survive mechanics that are not going to have like one shot properties. Obviously, you have still the 1% hit and raw crit. I do believe like even though it's written like a Fury EP of like 2 difference, I do believe like the Onyxia Tooth is just better overall. It also has fire resistance, which is going to help you with BWL and MC as well. So I really like that. Overall, I'm still going to keep the rank 10 helm for now. Lionheart helm is not something I'm going for. I don't think it's that much worth it for me. Obviously, some people may say that it's like one of the best helms in the game, and it is one of the best helms in the game. But currently on my server, it is literally too expensive. I refuse to farm for it. I refuse to pay for it. I feel like it's like thievery pretty much to get it. So I prefer to get my rank 10, and eventually, if I go for the rank 14 gear, I can always replace my gear pretty easily. You have also the option, again, it gives you 40 attack power set, always awesome, but you also have Helm of Endless Rage, which is giving you also raw stats, like 26 strength, 29 stamina, 26 agility. Depending on your role in the raid, it could be also a very valid reason to get it. But I prefer this one. Like shoulders ones, I think if you lack the hit, you could still get the True Strike shoulders. I personally like the rank 10 combo, like the shoulders and helm gets you the 40 attack power as well, so I stick with it. It doesn't show on the EP because the sets doesn't show on the EP, but 40 AP is like overall going to be very massive, even though you're going to lack the hit. You can always get the hit via other ways, but for now I'm going to keep it like this. Then we have the Cadaverous armor, which is the best piece that you could have, and that is really it. You could say that SGC is very, very close, but the truth is, depending on your amount of crit and depending on the soft cap, attack power is going to overtake it. Now, there is also a solution with Malfurious Blessed Bulwark. You will lose the crit, obviously, like the little crit that you get from agility, but you get 40 strength, which is 80 attack power. It's a bit more than Cadaverous armor. Depends on how you want and see it. It has a lot of armor on it. I do believe that is a Feral Druid Prior item, but maybe you see it differently. But for me, Cadaverous armor is doing very well. I'm still like wearing it in MC, and I'm going to still wear it in BWL until maybe the ranking gear. Bracers one, to be fair, it really depends on the hit. If you have enough hit, replace those bracers and go for Risk Guards of Stability, which is like a straight upgrade, like AP wise. Some people are still wearing the Battleborn Embraces. Some people are even like going for the Risk Guards of True Flight, which is a BIS for tanking in MC. But if you actually can, which is very hard to get exalted in Warsong Gulch, you can always go for the Berserker's Bracers, which is, I think, quite equal to Risgars of Stability because you have a bit of crit with agility, you have a stamina increase, you have plate, which is also going to be better than leather, in my opinion. You will lose a bit of strength, but I think overall those braces are better. But I would say that those are probably pretty easy to get. Like you just SR it, you have 4 chances to get it on every single boss. You have a chance to get it, and most of the people are not going to SR it, so you have a chance to just get it for free. So I would say Risgars of Stability, why not? And then you have the Devil Sword set, which is very annoying to replace because if you replace it, you lose 2% hit. Now, I already got the Flame Guard's Gauntlets. I think my issue is I cannot replace the Devil Sword set. I will try to get the hit, but the issue is to get the hit, you kind of need either the trinkets or a belt or the boots or like something like legs. But that will help me. So for now, I'm going to keep it like this. But the truth is, you really want to go Flame Guard's Gauntlets, and maybe, like I said, you could go for ranking gear, or you can like get the Legacy of the Fallen Crusader, which is looking like a paladin leg piece, but it actually is a very good leg piece. It has a lot of strength. It has 1% crit and a bit more intellect, which is going to be useless except for like weapon skill leveling, and 22 stamina. It's also plate. It's way better than Devil Swords leggings. But again, can you afford losing the hit? You have also the Warsong Gulch legs, which is, in my opinion, not that relevant if you go for ranking gear because it is quite similar, or if not, like they're not even good compared to them. Boots. Now, I still wear the rank 7 boots. I do believe that if you can SR one item, I would SR the chromatic boots instead of boots of the Shadow Flame. I'm going to explain why. The boots of Shadow Flame is obviously better because you have 2% hit. Hit is one of the things that are very annoying to get, especially if you're not a Lionheart Helm wearer like me. You suffer for hit. If I had Lionheart Helm, maybe I would like replace Devil Sword way easier. It is what it is. I made the choice. But Boots of the Shadow Flame is BIS for Feral Druids, BIS for Rogues, BIS for Warriors. The truth is, you're going to have a hard time to get it. So if you want to have a easier time to at least win something, you should go for Chromatic Boots. Now, I tell you guys that, and I kind of shoot myself in the leg by saying that, you can go for Chromatic Boots, which is an easy SR. But the truth is, as a warrior, you also have other options, which I'm going to show you a bit further down the video. I'm not going to make too long of a video, but I hope I can like round it up very soon. Chromatic Boots would be an ideal SR. Ideally, you still run MC, and you want probably to double SR, triple SR, Onslaught Girdle whenever you can. It's very tough. Like, I haven't seen Onslaught Girdle once drop in my raids as a warrior. I only saw it on my druid once, and I saw it once on my priest, which kind of sucks. So you can maybe like organize an MC and HR it yourself, but it's very hard to organize something without like having everything falling apart. You have some legitimate good pieces, right? You have Girdle of the Fallen Crusader, which is a bit of a everything belt, but it still lacks a hit. You have a Thought of Dragonhide belt, which is most likely going for the Feral Druid anyways. Even though it's not like spectacular, it's working pretty well. It still lacks the hit. Terra Zinsling, which is also a good item, mostly for paladins, hunters, I would say shamans, obviously, enhancement shamans. Warriors could also wear it because of the attack power, the crit, the stamina. It's all good. But the truth is, like, Onslaught Girdle is so much stronger. Like 31 strength, which is 62 attack power without kings in mind. 1% crit, 1% hit. That is going to help you immensely. Personally, I'm going to try to farm the Brigham Girdle for one, so I get the hit at least, so I don't like suffer as much for not having Onslaught Girdle. But I can't be asked to again run UBRS. Like, I prefer to do PvP. but that's my issue. But I would say like if you can still run MC, do Onslaught Girdle, SRs pretty much, and the rest, if you could get something from BWL, I would say that you could maybe SR Terrazin Sling if you do not need the hit, and you can replace Brigham's Girdle pretty easily, or Onslaught Girdle if it doesn't drop, maybe you can go for that. But it's not that much of a difference. Like between the Stormbright Plate Girdle and the Terrazin Sling is like 20 EP pretty much. So it's not that different. So yeah, I would keep it like this. Most likely, I'm going to go for the Brigham's Girdle, and then the rings. Obviously, Don Julio's Band and Quick Strike Ring are very very valid rings still. You could go for Band of Akuria if you want to instead of Don Julio's Band, but I would try to not replace Quick Strike Ring. You could say, look, good for Band of Korea and then also Julio's Band, so you could get 3% hit together, and that's cool. But there's also a possibility with going Quick Strike Ring and maybe Master's Dragon Slayer. Now, obviously, the difference between Don Julio's Band and Master Dragon Slayer's ring is a crit difference. So it depends on if you want to have more crit or if you want to have more AP. I think at that point, if you could actually go for the Dragon Slayer's ring, it will help you with your AP problems. It has also some good stamina. You will lose the crit, but overall, I think it is kind of worth it. But that depends on your crit levels. Now, one thing you should note: Phase 3 will open up the ways towards Diamond Flask, and you should grind that. Like, get the quest done. It's very easy. It's one of the best items in the game. Gets you insane amount of healing, but also insane amount of strength. It's literally a Crusader on steroids, because you can have that for 1 minute, get a double proc of Crusader, and you're like really going to like hurt a lot of people with it. So I like that. And then still, Hand of Justice is still going to be a good item. But DFT, if you have a hit problem, it gives also attack power. Realistically, you have like the a rich problem choice where you can actually choose between multiple trinkets depending on the situations. This is like most likely going for a tank first. But yeah, it's going to be a high ticket item. Every single every single physical damage dealer is going to go for that. Even Retribution Paladin is going to see DFT as a straight upgrade. So Feral Druids, Hunters, Warriors, Rogues, Retribution Paladins. Have I missed anything Alliance side? I don't think so. Retribution Paladin, I guess, if I haven't said that. So difficult, very difficult. But again, if you want to SR it, do it. I personally will not SR it for a long time, because the likelihood of it to be actually an item for me is going to be very low. So I'm going to SR the other items, and then if something drops, I can then move closer to the DFT SR. I also like Life Giving Gem as SR, because it's actually also a very easy one to get. Gives you a heal, gives you also like a mini last stand. I kind of like it, so that's also an option. Now, bow wise or like range weapon wise, you still want to go for MC Striker's Mark. I think that is going to be the easier SR. It's just a bit annoying to get. I don't see it drop often, so but that's a straight upgrade. Like, it's attack power instead of that 3 agility that you would get from Satyr's Bow. This is going to be a very reliable weapon until like a very long time. So if you can go for Striker's Mark, just do it. But yeah, it depends on how often you're going to run MC from now on. Now, I have talked about the BWL items, but what is going to be the realistic BIS if you're going for rank 14 weapons, rank 14 gear? So if I go for max PvP rank and save it, and then I'm going to obviously check it, you have a lot of options now. You could also go for the rank 12 gauntlets, which is going to be also quite good. But obviously, I think Flamguard's gauntlet is going to be a bit better. But it depends if you can get towards that 2 set, 3 set, or 6 set. I think 6 set is a bit hard to get because you're going to lose a lot of stats. But in PvP, you might just get it. But the one item that you should go for which is super easy to get. And if you really need the hit, the boots, Marshall's Blade boots, which is going to give you stamina, strength, a half a crit with agility pretty much, and you get also 1% chance of hit. So I will go for that. It is the easiest one to get. Um, and since I have that, and I will have like the hits from other pieces, I can then finally replace the legs, and the legs is going to be the best legs that you can get, rank 12, which is literally third to the 3rd of April. Once it's out, you can actually grind it, and you will get in 1 week time a SR worthy item to get with like PvP. 2% crit, 1% hit, 28 stamina, 20 strength. You do lose a bit of AP by going for Marshall, but you get the hit very easily. You get 2% crit, which is going to be very valuable. You can then play around some pieces to get a bit more stamina, a bit more strength, a bit more AP, because you have a soft cap, and it depends on your hit. I do believe like this is going to be a great legs to get. So I would go for the legs. It's rank 12, so basically the first week of ranking, I can do again. It will give me two pieces of items that are going to be very valuable, which is the legs and the boots. We have seen the gauntlets. I think Flame Guard's gauntlet is a bit better, but we can then move on to the chest. The chest is also very valuable. It depends on what you actually need, if you need a bit of stamina or not, but like it's a lot of stamina. 33 stamina is literally one of the best items you can get if you're thinking about tanking. It gives you literally a big boost of health. It gives you a crit, which is always going to be welcome compared to the cadaver's armor. You will lose a lot of AP though. Yeah, it's like 32 AP compared to like a big 72 AP, 76 AP, because it's 8 strength times 2, and then 60 AP, 76 AP. I don't know if I'm going to wear it every single time, but I know for PvP I'm going to wear it. So rank 13, easy. And then you have your shoulders, obviously, which is also going to be a good shoulder to get. It's 1% hit. You should actually go for that at any time. It's going to kind of make your hit problems a non-factor. So I will go for the shoulders. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be like literally like close to 1% hit with the 16 agility. We have 18 strength, which is big. We have 23 stamina. You get also the fun set pretty much with the reduce the cooldown of your intercept ability by 5 seconds, which is going to be useful for some fights as well. So I like that as well. Do you want to have the head? Personally, I think that's a choice that you can make. Either you go for the rank 10 head, or either you're not. It depends. I think if you need the hit, you still wear the rank 10 or the Lionheart. If you don't need the hit, this is going to give you a bit more AP pretty much. It's not going to give you more than that. It is going to give you a bit of stamina, but it's not like mandatory. Now that's rank 13 obviously. The only pieces that you can get from rank 12 is the gauntlets, the legs, and the boots. I think personally, if you don't have Flame Guard's gauntlets, it's still worth to get the rank 12 gauntlets because of the crit and the strength that is pretty easy to get as well. But that will depend on your hit levels pretty much. But that's pretty much for the ranking armor. If you're going to talk about like purely the weapons, I think it's pretty easy to say that the rank 14 weapons are like blowing everything out of the water except the Maladeth, which is again something I already explained. Giving you the glancing blow reduction is very big, even though some people are like saying 305 is like the only thing you really want. I think going above to 308, where you get a 95% like damage on glancing blows instead of like a 65%, it's big. Like just a 30% increase in damage out of your glancing blows, which is a lot of the unlucky factors around the warrior gameplay or like rogue gameplay as well. So we have the axes for the orcs, but you also have the swords for the warriors, and this is like very big, like 28 attack power, which is equal to 14 strength. It's actually not too shabby. Like it's really the same as chromatically tempered sword. You also get 1% hit, which is more than what you would get from tempered sword, and you even get 7 stamina, which is the same as chromatically tempered sword. It does more damage than chromatically tempered sword. Now, obviously, it's a slower weapon. Who cares? It is really comparable though. So that's why I'm saying, like, do you really want to SR a weapon that you would get pretty much 4 weeks after Video Bill has come out, pretty much? So you have Video Bill coming out tomorrow for us. You count 14 days, then you can rank, and then you count 4 weeks to get rank 14. 6 weeks. Do you really want to get like a weapon SR'd, which is most likely going to be SR'd by the whole world, which is going to be making it even harder to get? Or do you want to SR the other pieces, which are going to be easily good replacements for your gear, which is going to last for a long time? You decide. I personally prefer to SR like the longsword, and if I really have to SR something out of weapons, it would be Ashkandi, because it is one of the best weapons in the game, even superior to the two-hander you would get from the ranking gear. It is literally the same weapon, pretty much. Like 41 stamina, very big, but you do lose a lot of AP. The weapon damage is also higher on Ashkandi. It's also a faster weapon as well. And you have 1% crit on the Claymore, which you don't have on Ashkandi, so it kind of outweighs. But if you can actually like SR something, I think Ashkandi is a very good weapon to SR. It's also going to be quite fun to play around. But that's, again, my opinion. So yeah, those are like the weapons you can go for. I think with rank 14, you can play with the longsword and then like a faster offhand to get like the rage regen a bit more safer, I would say. But you could also get like 2 slower weapons. It really depends. If you can actually SR the Maladeth, I think that's a very good SR, because like I said, the glancing blows. So that would be the priority, and ideally you would play like this, right? You would have this, and you would have the Maladeth, which is going to maximize your damage overall. You're not going to have too many issues with glancing blows. I think that gear is like the best gear you can have easily. Obviously, once you have Onslaught Girdle, you have 8% hit. You can like do like a bit of crazy stuff here and there, like gear wise. Maybe if you want to get like Lionheart Helm, why not? I think there is a few options here and there that you can swap. There is also like a possibility where you can get the rank 10 chest still, and you can then combine it with the rank 10 helm, so you get the 40 AP and compensate that with that. That's a possibility, obviously. It depends, because you're still losing a bit of AP by doing that swap. Is it more worth it? It depends, right? 76 AP, or in total 21 strength, which is 42 AP plus 40, it's 82 AP. It does overweigh the Calaver's armor, so why not? You could also play like this. This is also a possibility. So it depends. You can still keep the rank 10 set 2-piece, and you can then play around the other stuff that is going to be quite fun, like the rank 12 and rank 13 gear. Again, thank you for watching the video. Really appreciate you. If you have any questions, if you have any remarks, please let me know. I think overall it's like outweighing what you want to SR or HR. I think Chromatic Boots is a very good SR, because it's very, very similar to the Marshal's Plate Boots. This is like literally the safer item to get, while this is like the item you could get first week if you want to. And Boots of the Shadow Flame is maybe the one that you need if you really want the hits to replace a few pieces of the gear. So there's a lot of things that you can outweigh, and I think overall this is how I would like to play my warrior in this phase. So again, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Bye.